In the last video, we have completed the layout for our Google Social Sign-In button. What we want to do next is to refactor this code into a new widget class that we will be able to reuse. This widget class will be configurable, and we will be able to specify an image asset name as well as the text that we want to show. So in the same folder as our sign-in page, we're going to create a new Dart file, and we'll call this Social Sign-In Button. Then we need to decide how we are going to implement this. In the previous videos, we have seen a couple of different approaches for how we can implement custom widgets. Initially, we created this custom raised button class, and the way we've done this was to subclass from stateless widget and then implement the build method with the logic that we needed. And this works by using the properties that are passed into the constructor. Later on, we created a sign-in button class, and in this instance, we went for a different approach. And that was to subclass directly from our custom raised button class and pass in any constructor arguments directly into the constructor of the superclass. This has the advantage that we don't need to declare a build method at all, and so this approach requires less code. So I'm going to suggest that we use this approach once again, and the way we are going to do this is to copy-paste this whole file into our new Social Sign-In Button file. As a first step, we are then going to rename this as Social Sign-In Button and rename the constructor as well. So what we have now is a new widget class called Social Sign-In Button, but its implementation is identical to that of Sign-In Button. What we want to do instead is to replace this text widget with the new code that we have added on the sign-in page to show a logo and the text inside the button. So in other words, we are going to copy this row widget and its entire content, and we're going to paste it in here to replace the text widget. Okay, this is good progress. However, we can see that the asset name and the text are hard-coded. Instead, we want these properties to be customizable. So what we are going to do now is to add a new property to the constructor called string asset name. And then we are going to use this property over here and also over here. And also we want to use the text property that is passed to our constructor inside this text widget. Finally, we have this text color that is passed to our constructor but is not used anywhere. So if you remember, the way that we use this is to add a style property to our text. And so here we're going to type in style, and then it's going to be a text style with a color of text color. And we also specify a font size of 15, which is the same value that we were using in our sign-in button. Okay, so this completes the implementation of our Social Sign-In Button class. And what we want to do now is to use it. So if we head back to our sign-in page class, what we're going to do is to replace this sign-in button widget with our new Social Sign-In Button. We must of course remember to import it, so let's do that. And we must remember that this new class requires a new parameter called asset name. So we're going to add it, and here we can type in images/google-logo.png. So at this stage we can save the file, and we can see that the second Google Sign-In button now shows the logo that we want. Okay, so we now no longer need this custom raised button class that we had originally used to prototype our Social Sign-In Button. And you can see that the new class that we have created is much easier to use and requires much less code. And that's because we've hidden all the implementation details about the row layout. So let's delete this widget alongside the spacing and refresh. Okay, so it looks like I originally had a spacing of 48 points between the title and the first button, so let's restore that. And now we are ready to add the logo to the Facebook button as well. So down here, we are going to transform this widget into a social sign-in button as well. And we're going to type in the asset name, which is images/Facebook logo.png. And we can refresh again, and we can see that the Facebook logo now appears. Okay, with this last change, we have completed the entire layout for the sign-in page. So congratulations for making it this far. I feel that this has been a long introduction to building layouts in Flutter, but we have learned a hell of a lot in the process. Before we complete this chapter and move on to the next one, there is one more detail that I want to illustrate, and we're going to see that in the next video.